Ordinary Numbers by Cryptaria. Chapter 5. June 2012. The call started. Don't call me an idiot. Taylor immediately recognized his only consistent caller. He looked around, but the bullpen was quiet at this hour. Night shifts were a favorite, and he kept rearranging his schedule despite Iris's efforts to put him back on days when they were busiest. That was only once, and you deserved it that time, he replied, minimizing his help ticket windows. Bond's laugh was low and deep. At the time, I was being shot at. I had to interrupt the process. Besides, it worked out to the end. Better to have the whole bloody hard drive than a banned CD, and this time no one's shooting at me. He must be bolt stiff. Taylor imagined him lounging somewhere, tapping his fingers impatiently. Not that he could actually visualize him. His stacker, as Annie called the James, was still just a voice on the line. What can I do for you, James? It's generally work-related. Really, they were supposed to do this for me. Band complained. They pushed an update, except I had to interrupt it. I was going to miss the flight, he quickly explained. Now the bloody thing doesn't work, so Danielle said to reformat, except it's, well, rabbit of negative euphoria, to quote. Taylor sat back and laughed. You listen to cabin pressure? I'm actually a little surprised. Is it the same laptop you had last month, or did that not survive to the present crisis? It's a new issue, he admitted sheepishly. The last one got run over once or twice. And of course I listen to cabin pressure. I spent half my life on airplanes. Even the pilots aren't appealing anymore. Airplanes, Taylor said with a shudder. You're a brave man. What kind of laptop is it this time? Anything less than the toughest of tough books, and I'm going to have to revise my opinion of Q Branch down even further. It's an Acer Aspire, fragile little thing. Even I would be hard-pressed to kill someone with it. Are you kidding me? Taylor stared at the triple moon fantasy landscape wallpaper that was his desktop background. What were they thinking? How does MI6 even have something like that available to your destructive lot? He shook his head. Never mind, I don't even want to know. Do you have anything on there that you need to keep or would miss if it were gone? Supposedly. And please understand that by supposedly, I mean if the idiot assigned to me is doing his job. Everything that should be on the laptop is mirrored somewhere in the labyrinth of MI6 service. I can give you the mission file number. I'd get the files restored myself, but I'm not even up to the part where I can get online. I don't have the security clearance to get to the server where your files are stored, Taylor said with a sigh. He could easily get in without any help from Bond's offered logins, but wasn't willing to risk his job over it. Let's not trust the safety of your data to Q Branch, though, so I repeat the question. Anything you'd miss? Well, yes, my entire cover story, including whatever the heck my venture capital firm is named. But I thought of a backup plan. Bond said proudly. You'll love it. Uh-oh. James's plan B's usually involve explosives or gunfire. Do tell, he said cautiously. I'll go buy a new computer. There's an electronics store just down the stoop. Then you talk me through pulling the biometrics reader out of this thing so I can log in securely from here. An excellent idea, but if you don't mind, I can modify it a bit, just to make things easier for you, Taylor said. He didn't want to discourage James's forward thinking about securing his data, but he also wasn't bloody well going to let him get zapped by the safety measures that were undoubtedly wired into the biometric reader. How about a new laptop and a new biometrics reader, and a cable to transfer data from your old hard drive to your new one, just in case? It's not some sort of hardware locked reader, MI6 only or something. Of course it is. But by the time the authentication protocols receive the login data, it's just numbers, which I can make dance any way I want. Bond laughed richly. Agreed. Let's go shopping, he said over the sound of movement and rattling keys in the background. The store's called Fry's Electronics, if you want to get me a list of what to buy. You're going to need some tools, too. You're going to physically crack that laptop. He pulled up the website for Fry's, scrolling through the delicious lists of available components. Goddamn jealous, it's a damn candy store. If there's anything you'd like me to pick up for you, feel free to add it to the list. I'm in Las Vegas and I'm very good at cards. Taylor laughed. I'll believe it. I'll let you know. He opened up a text edit window and started to type up a list. It's not really the components themselves, though, you know. I can buy components from anywhere, usually online. It's the happiness that only comes from the tactile experience of running your hands over acres of shiny new cables and brand new circuit boards. Like the difference between being in a record store or buying your music on iTunes. Car shopping. Bond answered. In the background, Taylor heard the ding of a lift arriving. Always test drive again, even if you drove the same car just the week before. Same with guns. I suspect it's the same feeling, though I've never gone gun shopping before, so I'll have to take your word for it on that front. Is there anything in particular you didn't like about your last computer? Or something you wished it had? This little thing. It was fast. Faster than any of the bricks they've issued. He said thoughtfully. Other than that, well, you've realized by now that gear doesn't last long in the field. I only have this because it fits with my cover story. If I were on another type of mission, I'd probably have the same brick, if anything at all. He paused, and Taylor heard the sound of obnoxious pop music in the background. I appreciate all your help you've been, Mike. I can't help but think you're in the wrong branch. Taylor chuckled. I rather enjoy helping you, as we well know. Your problems are never solved with the reboot. It's refreshing. I should really just build you a laptop, something sturdy that might actually last for more than just the single mission or two. Or create something that's just a dummy terminal for a cloud-based operating system, so no matter how many cheap laptops you destroy, the next one will always be like the last one. He paused. How do you feel about touchscreens? Very, very useful, Bond said without hesitation. Anything mechanical like keys or a mouse makes noise. Excellent. They're generally a lot tougher than a laptop too, especially if you keep them in a case. Let's try something new, shall we? Taylor grinned. This was going to be fun. Bond laughed, low and wicked. Anything you'd like, he said as the lift chimed again, the background filled with noise, loud music, loud voices, and the clatter and clang of what Taylor thought were slot machines. Careful, James. I may take advantage. Taylor replied with a grin. It was so much easier to flirt over the phone, he thought. We'll start with an ASUS transformer, just to ease you in slowly. Plus, it's cheap, so if it breaks, you won't be out of pocket by too much. I'm tempted to ask about battle modes and missiles, but we probably don't have time to really weaponize it, do we? And I'm really not certain it's possible to take advantage of a field agent, though you're welcome to try. Taylor couldn't quite hide the strangled sound of him choking on his tea. Oh, if only. He thought, though, he'd be far too embarrassed to actually have him over to his flat where James's gifts were accumulating in the honest imitation of a deadly magpie's nest. He coughed and cleared his voice before saying, I absolutely could tell you how to weaponize it, but the risk it poses forces me to decline. I certainly don't want you arrested at the airport when you try to leave. Bond laughed. I've smuggled less than explosives through airports, but since this is theoretically an intel mission and not a hit, I should be able to live with it until I get back home. The casino noise in the background dropped quickly to silence before Bond let out a sharp exhale. Bloody hot here. How is it at home? 16 and raining. I thought about trying to ride my bike in again today, but have you seen the showers in the exercise area? I'm not totally convinced they're not secretly bio-department experiments. Taylor scrolled through the specs of the ASUS, making mental notes of possible modifications. It was over 35 here today, Bond complained. It would actually be nice until 3 in the morning, though I won't keep you up that long. When does your shift end? It's 3 in the morning now, isn't it? Yes, it's 0300 here. I get off at 0600. I'll make it home just in time to watch the sunrise from my roof. Much better than sunset, in my opinion. Everything's still open here at that hour. Or most of everything. Vegas isn't quite as active as it was 10 years ago at night. Trying to change to a family-friendly reputation, I gather. Thanks, he added somewhat distantly, and Taylor heard a soft acknowledgement in the background. You don't have a backlog of calls waiting for your expertise. I really don't want to get you in trouble. If you get fired, I might have to take matters into my own hands. I think technically every time I help you with Q-Punch equipment, I'm doing something worthy of instant dismissal, Taylor said with a sigh, leaning back and staring up at the ceiling. And that's before I have to do something damn near illegal, like helping you with your biometrics problem. Luckily, I like you, and I'm too good to get caught. You do? Bond asked slyly. Don't be nice, Taylor scolded with a chuckle. Besides, it's hard not to be fond of someone who sends you scary and deadly things with fair regularity, and whom you've never actually met. Is that all it takes? What would you like next? Nellis Air Force Base isn't too far away. Would you like an F-16? Taylor paused. He'd love to say, hell yes! But could all too easily picture James actually bringing him a plane. He took the easy way out. Well, as much as I'd love to rip the guts out of an F-16 just to play with the parts, the whole fear of flying thing sort of makes it a wasted gift. Besides, I'm relatively certain you get into trouble for that. And so would I as your accomplice. You say that as if I've never stolen a fighter jet before. Ban scoffed. How about something that'll actually fit in my flat? Really, for all that this is the desert, the deadliest things here are the tourists. Though there are these hybrid scorpion spider things, I'm not sure— Oh God, stop! Taylor interrupted with a shudder. No spiders or scorpions, please! Very well, then we're left with nature's other creative ways to kill. Sunlight won't last in London. It's scientific fact that more than 12 sunny days in London means the world's going to end, you know. Chuckling to himself, Taylor opened a new text doc for writing the code necessary to trick the security protocols upstairs into thinking that the cheap knockoff biometric scanner he was going to have Bond use was actually an MI6 exclusive. There have been experiments about bottling light, he said somewhat absently, but no one has been very successful. Lightning the bottle, or more accurately, static electricity in clear glass on a charged base, is about as close as they can get. I've seen those. Science museums have them. Something to do with Tesla. Bond guessed. Taylor chuckled. I can make you your own if you like, or teach you how to make something similar. There's a little shorter lasting, but absolutely spectacular in execution, and you'd get to use a hammer. I believe by MI6 regs, I'm not allowed to use hand tools without proper supervision. Something about blowing things up. Bond laughed again. Nature's already beaten you, though. Lightning strikes instant can form natural glass sculptures. Really? I've heard of desert glass before, but that isn't the same, I think. That must be beautiful. There's an artist who uses it for inspiration. Damn, what was his name? Bond mused. He had some pieces at the Bellagio. It only took a quick bit of searching to find the glass artist displaying in Las Vegas. Dale Chihuly? Taylor paused, scrolling through the man's website. Wow! James! Have you seen some of these? People think of glass as so fragile, but some of these sculptures look really, really deadly. I'd hate to fall on Blue Moon. Of course, I wouldn't be alive to feel the consequences. Ah, Sid. Bond said, gorgeous work. Of course I have a thing for deadly and beautiful, if you hadn't figured that much out already. Then you must be terribly disappointed in me, Taylor said with a chuckle. But you don't seem like the type to have a tastefully modern flat that will let you show off any of those big sculptures to their advantage. I'd bet you're a clunky wood antiques kind of guy. Bond laughed. I have a flat I never see that was decorated by an interior designer. My sole requirements was that she not replace my bed and that the couch could keep me comfortable. I think it's all reproductions. I'm not exactly easy on furniture. Okay, redirecting the conversation away from those vigils, Taylor said with a choked laugh. I won't even ask why you're so attached to your bed. This time Bond's laugh was a bit lower and more intimate. Probably best not while I'm driving, at any rate. Or I will be driving as soon as I put the address into the GPS. It's right off the strip, but American highways are nearly as bad as ours. Christ, never go to Boston, Mike, trust me. Or if you do, don't drive. I'll keep that in mind, assuming I don't get caught spoofing the authentication server like this. I could go to prison until the sun burns out. If anyone gives you trouble for this, just give them my ID number. They'll stop. James, if I get caught, they're not going to care about your ID number. They're just going to haul me off to the brig or the dungeon or the tunnels or wherever it is you people lock away the bad guys. Bond laughed. I can't give details, even if you had the clearance. Just trust me. What, you'd hunt me down in the secret underground prison to make sure I didn't suffer unduly? Mike asked his question with a little laugh, but James's answer was quiet and serious. Of course I would. June 2012. The delivery came just days later, this time by overnight express from Las Vegas. The box brought to Taylor's desk was all but covered in fragile stickers and was reinforced with wood at the corners. How am I supposed to open this? Taylor asked, wondering who in the bullpen might have anything even close to a crowbar. Annie came over with her scissors, but held back when she got a better look at the package. Oh, come on, Annie. You know you're just as curious about what's in this box as I am. Taylor scolded, reaching for the scissors. I've already broken 3 this month, she said, though she offered them to him. You get to buy the replacements. Taylor carefully avoided wondering just what the heck Annie was doing with her scissors to break them so frequently. As he took the offered pair, he stabbed and twisted and finagled the box, though being very careful not to disturb the contents inside, before the lid finally came free. Inside were air pillows surrounding another box, this one of stiff cardboard, printed with a gold foil B in swirling cursive. Taylor removed that box carefully, preserving the air pillows. He opened it, revealing a dull golden purple tissue paper surrounding a small forest of blue glass points, lethally sharp. Taylor pulled it out reverently, turning it this way and that in an attempt to catch all the subtle nuances of the swirl and shade variants in the glass. He didn't know what he was more afraid of, dropping it or destroying it, or catching it and then bleeding from the sharp points. There was a metaphor there somewhere, but Taylor didn't bother trying to track it down. "Whoa!" he finally said, grinning. "It would go splendidly by the Russian box, won't it?" he asked Annie, who so far had been present for most of his gifts. "And you haven't shagged him yet? Bloody heck, Mike. You risk boring him. Give him my number if he gets lonely. I've got a fireplace mantle with nothing on it," she said, reclaiming her scissors. "I'm far too selfish for that," Taylor couldn't help but reply. "Besides, he always waits for me." "Well, he's your agent," Annie pointed out. Mike smiled. "Yes, he is, isn't he?